encountered a situation. I'm dealing with breast cancer, and I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good.
But as a child growing up, when I wanted to, have a certain flavor of soda or something, my father would tell me to go up and mix it myself and see what I came up with. Well, due to the breast cancer and the limitations of sugar and so forth, I've been doing that myself. And now I'm interested in reinventing and updating the equipment, and I want to know how to go about that because my father's near retirement, my brother's still with the company, and there's just some logistics that we need to work on, and I want to know how to get started.
Heidi, are you producing soda that is sold, that you produce your own line of soda, or you produce soda for,
Yeah, it was our own brand. I mean, just name a flavor, and if you wanted something, we came up with it.
What's
What's the brand? We want to sell some.
You have to tell us.
Well, it hasn't been made for over a dozen years, but it was called Crescent Fruit Beverages. And they did everything from seltzers to colas to a variety of ginger ales, cherry, orange, and, years ago when there was a lot of farmland, they used to get the juices fresh.
It was sold in the Mid-Atlantic region, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in Virginia, so anything that happened from Maine to Florida, I've pretty much probably eaten or had to drink. But who wants to get in here first? Because I think this is an incredibly interesting story.
It really is, motivation in particular. But, the issue, since you've got a business that has been not operating for a time, there's going to be a question of, do you have the people that know how to do it in place? Do you have the managers in place? And what's the shape of the equipment today? So I don't think it's only a question of getting the equipment back into steam. It's making sure that you've got the basis of putting together the team of people that's going to market this. So I'd want to talk with your family and find out who of all the people that work with you in the business 12 years ago are still around that would want to get back involved and do it again. And then you want to team up with someone who knows how the market's working today, who bring them into your business. But you need that loyal old group that knows how to do what you were doing before to rebuild that brand. But I bet you Allie's got some ideas about this.
Well, I think this one, the thing I keep thinking when I listen to you is, what do you want from this? And the reason why I say that is as soon as I hear a not operating factory or manufacturing environment that's going to require equipment upgrades, I think big dollars and long term. And it's there based on that, I immediately think, hey, this isn't casual. It's not likely that you can do this as a hobby thing. So I think you kind of need to think about, while we've got great examples over the last few years of a lot of great beverage success stories in a lot of different areas, especially if you're coming at it from a motivation, and I'll say I have a personal bias on this, of thinking about soda with a reduced sugar approach. Thumbs up. I think there's a lot of arguments that you could make a really great total available market opportunity argument for that, but it's a highly competitive field. Yeah. I mean, those big guys. I also want to give back. I have been so fortunate, and the people around me have gathered and propped and have been wonderful getting me through this time. And so this is actually a way of giving back to those who are paying forward and benefiting those who are dealing with cancer. I think that's exactly what you have to think about is what will define success for you, because you need to sort of size that to then go back and assess, all right, so for me to accomplish that, what would be required, and am I willing or am I capable of making that investment? Because whether that's finding the person that can come bring it to life and you're an advisor or participant in it. If your goal is to build a generational business, that might be a very different approach to what you have. If your goal is to build local employment, that might be a very different approach. But one of the things I always caution people when you kind of go from, hey, I'm kind of approaching it again as a hobby and there's probably something really big and interesting here, is be careful, you might get what you ask for and it might not be the life you want. And you're going to make a huge investment to do anything to make something like what you're describing up and operational again.
Mark?
I think, the cautionary tale that I would echo is it sounded like a very inside-out approach. My family used to produce sodas. I kind of am thinking about getting back into it. I'd like to start up the machinery. I think you need an outside-in approach to say, what is the market looking for now, and is there a niche that I can solve? And Allie, I think, talked about this low-sugar concept. I worked with a gentleman named Stuart Lander out of Miami who was trying to launch a business called Not a Soda. And what he was trying to do is figure out how to get something that kids would like to drink that was healthy and good for you, not a soda. And we actually did all the market research. And doing the research, it sort of bore out that it was not going to be an easy segment to crack. So I think you really need to be careful about not doing inside out, but start outside and look in and find a good market opportunity before you invest the time and energy and money.
Yeah, just a brief comment. You know, it sounds to me like this is not really an old business that you're reviving because the market has changed so much and there's so many new competitors. It would be more like a brand new business with a lot of information and maybe some brand loyalty. You can certainly use some free tools like SurveyMonkey to find out what that brand recognition is if it's still out there. But it seems to me like it's almost a brand new marketing plan and an entirely new vision with a lot of history behind it, and obviously an amazing internal motivation, which I think you should continue and capture. But look at this in terms of starting a new business plan. What's the new competition? What is the brand awareness? And it's kind of starting over, even though you have a history.
Yeah, because I mean, 12 years, that's a long time to lapse. But nonetheless, hey, if you've got to run out and grab a soda or anything else, please take us with you on the radio, Sirius Channel 145 and XM 168.
More ahead. Stay with us.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. Straight to the phone. Cindy is on the line from Illinois. Cindy, you're with us.
Hi.
Go ahead. What do you want to know? Go ahead and ask your question.
I have a cleaning business, a small residential and small office cleaning business. I've been in business for over 13 years, and I'm pretty much the northern half of Illinois. I feel that I've been so successful, and I have a drive to continue to be successful. I'm overwhelming myself with the amount of work, but I want a franchise so that I can start getting my name out there and giving other people the opportunity to have their own business. I think this is a perfect market to start that. But franchising, I'm going to need some money. And I don't know if I should do a grant, a small business loan, look for investors. What would be the best avenue to go?
The SBA is going to be the cheapest money if you can get it. I would check out, I had mentioned earlier in the previous hour, the Mercantile. It's not a bank. It's just called Mercantile. It's in Alamode Springs, Florida. I would check them out. They're giving up to $7 million for this type of expansion. And then also, I had mentioned earlier, the California Bank and Trust, which is giving out money for this type of thing. But I would take a look at how much you really think it's going to cost, because LegalZoom, for example, will do this for under $1,000. They'll help you get your franchise up and running. And really, you can market this using online tools, which can be pretty inexpensive. So it may not take as much money as you think, first of all. And second of all, I would look to have the people that, the franchisees actually participate in the upfront cost in all of this, particularly if you're providing them with marketing materials and an existing brand.
Is franchising the way to go, John?
She
seems overwhelmed with the growth.
No, I would question that. And having a business that's so successful it overwhelms you is a pretty good place to start. And so sometimes the answer is just to find a way to get unoverwhelmed by your success. The problem with franchising is you either need, if you're approaching a person in another market to use your franchise for them to do business, you need to have a special sauce. You either need to have some process in the business that you do better than anybody else does. Right. In this case, I bet you it would be personnel management, finding and managing the people that actually do the work. Or it's the ability to deliver customers to them, which is why you go to a Burger King franchise or Wendy's franchise. So I would want to know what would be the conversation with that person you're trying to rope into being the franchisee, which secret sauce is it before you get there. If you have a secret sauce, frequently that person will give you $50,000 to take the franchise, but then you have to deliver stuff back to them in order to make it worth their while to do it. Some companies, IHOP for example, actually finance franchises for those people, and they have a financing arm like GMAC in the old days used to have that will help the person raise the money to do it. But I think, unless I know more than I know right now, I think this is a tough business to franchise. If you really do have a secret of managing the people, I would just take your business and expand it into those areas and manage those people yourself, because that's not a skill that transfers very well to another entrepreneur.
Allie, you're shaking your head.
I just think that's the exact answer, is how do you franchise is predicated upon you can give